Greetings. Greetings out there to all my fellow listeners. I'm trying to build this channel, so if you can subscribe to this channel. I'm gonna tell you a story today about a fella named Bill. Average guy Bill. You know, sometimes when you think about it and you look on the internet and you see the type of story that they propagate to our community, you got all these interlopers talking about gangsters and drug dealers, and this is, and they making a living pushing this to our youths, to our people. It's time to get away from that. This thing is not working. It's not working. What are the outcome? You become a drug dealer, you make a couple $1 million, you get shot in the head, and you spend 20 years in jail being somebody's bitch. Let's face it. That's what you're gonna be. They turn you into, whatever. Anyway, let's get back to Bill. Bill, he had a little BS. He had a little BS degree, a little bullshit BS degree. When you think about it, in this day and time, a Bachelor of Science ain't nothing. You could do if you motivated enough, you could do a Bachelor of Science in 2 years or 2.5 years. In 2.5 years, if you work hard enough, you just gotta apply, just like how you apply yourself in grade school, junior high school, high school. If you apply yourself in college, you could knock that off. That's why Bachelor, I remember back in the days they used to say, yeah, the problem with black people is they don't want to go to college. But look, you went to college and what they do? They move the goalposts. They shift the goalposts. Now they've made a bachelor degree, equivalent to a high school diploma. Now, don't get me wrong. The mistake we made is we constantly tell our kids go get a degree to get a job. No, it's good to have a degree under your belt. Some of the stuff was technical, accounting, business, whatever. But you realize that their histories of fraud, their philosophies of fraud. They stole everything they got. And, so back to Bill. So it's good to have a little BS or something like that, Bachelor of Science or a little degree under your belt. Anyway, Bill, he went to school. He had a little bachelor degree, but he still didn't have a job. So he volunteered to work in New York City Housing Authority. Yeah, he got a little volunteer. First day he got there, he was excited. They gave him a desk, He got the printout of the flow chart of all the management, all the managers, the supervisors, the assistant directors, the directors, and he started calling all of them, saying that, oh, I need a job. Nobody pays no mind. The manager who had been there for damn near 20 years said to him, yeah, he told the manager, yes, my name is Dollar Bill, and I have a Bachelor of Science degree. And the manager said, oh, you got a degree in science? He said, you got a degree in science. Bachelor of Science means it's a Bachelor of, they have Bachelor of Art and they have Bachelor of Science, Science just mean that it's not an extra 10 credits or 15 credits or whatever, but they're all the same thing. It's just they say art or science. One has, you need a few more degrees than it. Doesn't mean you have a Bachelor of Science degree. That's how dumb the manager was. So he see that this guy is not going to help him. So he started calling directors. Then he made an appointment with the personnel. They said they had a position open. So when he went there, appointment, the lady says, "Oh, have you ever been arrested?" He said, "Yes." As soon as she said that, she was like, "Okay, see you later." She kicked him out of the office. However, he figured because he had what they call an Article 23 that disqualify him. You know, Article 23 is saying that it relieve him of all disability from any criminal activity, you know what I mean? So he figured she's discriminating against him. So immediately he went and saw a lawyer that he knew and gave him $300, said he's gonna sue New York City. Then he applied to one of those equal employment opportunity program. Of course, you know, that's a waste of time. So the lawyer, it seems like the lawyer was smoking crack. He was a sharp guy. When he talks 100 miles an hour, like a shooting bullet. But he was just bullshitting him. So at one point, Bill got mad and approached the lawyer and getting ready to kick his ass, you know. He even went in front of his office, right on with magic marker. This guy is a crook on the sidewalk. So the lawyer said, shit, he got himself in trouble now. Cause this guy seems like he's gonna cause problem for me. So he said, I tell you what, man, I got something for you. I got a house for you. This house. So he gave him number to a lady. The lady had about two brothers and sisters. Her father was a reverend. You know, these guys was bad back in the days. You know what I mean? I'll tell you a brief little story about the reverend. He really didn't know the reverend, but after going through the house, he found a little pamphlet, a little black book that showed that the reverend was part of a secret society, you know, like a masonry thing, where if anybody in his group ever cross anyone, or ever sleep with anyone, a wife, there's one guy designated to just cut their throat. He said, shoot, these guys wasn't playing back in those days. Anyway, the lady was the administrator. So the house was already in the court, and she was the administrator. So he immediately drew up a contract and said, look, sign this contract. She signed the contract, knocked the lady off. I mean, knock her off. I mean, he killed her. You know, he kind of, you know, not, you know. And next thing you know, she said, yeah, I got this Cadillac in the driveway. I don't have no paper for it. So he drove away with a Cadillac. Hold on one second. So she signed his contract. She gave him a Cadillac, brand new Cadillac, only had 20,000 miles. He said he was driving smooth. So he drove off with the contract and the Cadillac, you know? So next thing he knew, the Supreme Court summons him in the office. There was already somebody in the court that put $10,000 down on the house. So he had to go to court. So case came on the calendar. They called the case. Such versus the estate of such and such and such. So he stand up. He said, Your Honor, bam! slammed his fist on the desk. I have a contract for this house. So the judge was, the Supreme Court is biggest crooks in there, Everybody's in on the take. The judge, everybody. That's how they operate, When it's not, when you got to go through there to get administrative, well, maybe not administrative, but when they put a conservator on the case, the judge get a cut. But this was a administrative. So he said, Your Honor, slam his fist on the desk. I have a contract right here. The judge said, You got a contract? Senate Secretary, we're going to have a second call in this case. Senate Secretary talked to the guy outside in the hallway. So they come and say, yeah, this contract is signed by the administrator. Okay. So the court says, okay, Your Honor, I'm requesting that this gentleman within 24 hours put a deposit of $10,000 on this house because I already have my $10,000 here. So judge said, okay, young fella, in 24 hours I need you to come up with $10,000 and put it as a deposit on this house. The millionaire guy, he looked over the contract. So Bill, he was new to this, so the house was in a dilapidated condition. So of course he's not going to get a regular mortgage, but he noticed that there was no say as is. So he figured this was his first deal. He's never going to get a mortgage. So he put his $10,000. So once he put $10,000, that $10,000, he would lose it after 60 days and it would become part of their estate. So he went and he called up his girlfriend and he said, ma'am, look, I need $10,000. I need it now. I need it immediately. Anyway, he came through with a $10,000. Dollar Bill didn't have no money himself, Remember, he's a volunteer working in the housing project. He barely had no money. So anyway, after 60 days, he got lucky, did a 203K, a special government program that's saying that they give him a little rehab budget. And on the last day, he got his commitment. And he closed. Trust me, he couldn't sleep for 60 days, wondering he's going to lose his $10,000. But it worked out in his favor. And he closed in the house, and that's how. But it didn't end there. So, of course, the EEOC didn't do nothing. So he just went and took the civil service test for the same job, and he aced it. And it was not working. Oh, incidentally, where he was volunteering, they came and got him one day and threw him out of the projects. So get out of here. So, okay, so he did wrote a letter to the mayor. And the mayor said, the mayor gave him a number to contact the commissioner. So the commissioner was going to help him with his job. But the mayor was under fire, and the commissioner was under fire for spending. Commissioner was black, when you black, all they talk about is how you dress. Oh, $300 suit. $300 suit was a lot of money back then. And so the commissioner was under fire because she had used some of her budget money to go on a trip to South Africa. And New York City was financed the whole South Africa trip. They was, even though it was apartheid, they was invested in apartheid. The New York City, the one that we work and pay tax, was invested in apartheid in South Africa. So anyway, these white people, they got in New York, they got a lot of newspaper. I call them dirty rag, and all they do is criticize black people. Their sole purpose is to go after black people. So the mayor was on the fire, and the commissioner was on the fire because she bought a $3,000 pink couch in her office. She's a commissioner. She can't even spend $3,000, and she was on the way out. So she ain't had time to try to help me. So to help him, so he went and did a civil service test and aced it. As a matter of fact, one time he ran into one of the people that he saw at the in the personnel that was working on the project. He saw them and they was like shocked, like, oh my God, that's you. Like they saw ghosts. So look at Dollar Bill. Look where he went from volunteering to paying a lawyer $3,000, which got him $1 million house, and he aced the test anyway and got the job. So you see, what have you learned from this story? He had nothing, and look what he did with it. You know what I mean? We don't need all these stories. Let's inspire people. Let's inspire them to do good, open their business, to reach to different level. This is the new paradigm. Forget about all these street people talking about this hustle and this. The real gangsters wear suit. Don't forget that. Walk good.